Expectations. Hello, everyone, friends of low expectations. Welcome back. I know after this past week, my expectations have never been lower, mainly because of my piss poor performance of my team and my tinkering. You all have come to love me, come to loathe me. I am the Commish, your fearless leader. I'm joined today with some of my favorite people on this earth, the one and only Kief Chief.
Oh, great to be here. Great to be back again. Episode number 4. Just want to say you really screwed yourself. Why would you start the Bills defense knowing you had Derrick Henry? It's like, hey, I like fucking myself with no lube.
Because I'm a poor fantasy player. That's all there is to it. We have a great new addition to the show though this week, Keith, and I'm excited to introduce him. You all might know him as Mean Philly. We know him as Philly. He's our new super producer. The man's on the ones and twos, keeping the beats fresh. Wow.
Thanks, boys. Thanks, boys. I don't know if Kiefer was talking earlier, so this is Kiefer's intro, by the way.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Sorry, I'm getting slandered for cocaine.
And also, it's going to take a minute, but
Keeper can never be a politician.
And it's going to take a minute, but it's worth it.
It is Friday, my dudes.
Oh boy! All right.
I want to give a huge shout out to Philly joining us. He was a brainchild, a brain trust member when we wanted to launch a podcast and the Low Expectations Network. But this week, it's really about our guest, the one and only, Austin Anderson, Cheese, our main man, married this week, getting married. This time next week, Cheese will be a married man. Cheese will be a married man. We are migrating to Indianapolis for what will certainly be a good time full of low expectations and empty beer cans.
We're gonna have good attendance of members of the low expectation at the wedding. We might have quorum to hold business and vote. I might be able to pass some legislation here. That's what I'm thinking about.
I can already hear Joe shouting collusion.
Yeah,
100%.
Absolutely, man. Well, tell us what it means.
50% of the lead there.
Tell us what it means for you to be on the show this week, Austin. Before we get into the meat and potatoes of this week's content.
Hey, man, I'm just really excited to be a part of the show. I've been having so much fun listening to it. You guys have killed it week in, week out. I'm thankful that you guys invited me to be on it. It's an exciting week because I've been looking forward to this, looking forward to the wedding. Had a great weekend with Sam last weekend. Watched some soccer, had some good drinks. Checked out a lot of cool things at Comic-Con because we're big old nerds and. But this has been a highlight. I took some time and prepped earlier today, and just super excited to be here. This is going to be fun.
You heard it here first, folks. We have a long-time listener, first-time caller, Austin Anderson, with a huge man crush on the hosts. That's all I took away from that. Really, with the sound.
But I would say the feeling is mutual.
Very much so. So. I don't think we can start any episode of Friends and Low Expectations without our signature 2-minute drill. Keith, are you ready for this?
Moving into the 2-minute drill, we're looking to go 3-1, staying under our time. 3-1, a respectable record. Really finding our rhythm here. Another exciting week in Low Expectations. So yeah, Sam, are you ready? You ready to jump into this bad boy?
Always.
Oh, alrighty. Well, I got my timer pulled up, and I will set us off in 3, 2, 1. Up first, the Goose is Loose got what he needed from Ride the Bus to get a win on Kamara's bye week. Underwhelming performances from DJ Moore, Mike Evans, and Darren Waller, and still Dak, Najee, and even Matt Prater came to the rescue to deliver Ride the Bus a solid win and remain undefeated. Despite the late push by the Gooches loose, thanks to a respectable outing by Sanders, Ride the Bus gets the win to remain unbeaten, 126-113.
In one of the more entertaining matchups of the week, Rice to beat you, your usually reliable trio of receivers, underwhelmed as a unit, combining for just 43 points thanks to lackluster performances by Allen and Adams. Still, Team S.A. Chingon got strong games from Mahomes and Jones and a monster outing from Noah Fant. Rice to beat you would have needed a monster performance from Dalton Knox, which wasn't out of the question given how he's played, but Knox was not a strong recipient of Allen's 350 yards and 3 TDs. Team S.A. Chingon inches by Rice to beat you, 126-118.
Up next, a battle of the podcast host and producer. Kief Chief versus Dalvin and Hobbs. Heading into the second half of the afternoon games, really looked like Kief Chief was going to be sitting in a good position, despite a big day from Super Bowl Lenny on Thursday. Cook, Hill, and Lamb all had monster second halves to put Dalvin and Hobbs up big. And CD added an insurance insult touchdown to put a bow on this blowout. Dalvin and Hobbs easily dispatches Kief Chief, 174-135.
Bad Mother Tucker versus Blood, Sweat, and Beers. Usually having less than 50 after the Sunday game spells disaster for your chances to get a win. But when you have King Henry, Josh Allen, and basically the rest of the Buffalo Bills team left to play, you're not out. However, Fern continues his impressive scoring, posting back-to-back 140-plus point games and didn't even need Diggs' 24 on Monday Night Football to walk away with the win. Blood, Sweat, and Beers gets the win and continues his march back into the playoff hunt, 146-114.
Cheese left Antonio Brown's 24 points on the bench, which we all felt spelt doom for this matchup, but the addition of Swift pays off instantly, while Gesicki and Cooper Kupp deliver outstanding performances to get Chark in the Water back in the win column. Head Cow once again leaves a great game from Cortland Sutton on the bench, which perfectly summarizes Head Cow's season as they slip to 1-5. Chark in the Water pulls away late, 131-113. Sam, unfortunately, we fall to 2-2. 2 minutes, 17 seconds. Not our best performance, but
I'm pissed now.
Oh man. That's just, I mean, two back-to-back great weeks, and a bit of a letdown like this. Honestly, it reminds me a lot of your performance, Sam.
Oh yeah. No, that was that was quite the disappointing showing. So I got nothing to say for myself.
Well,
I mean, at the end of the day, this is the low expectations league.
Oh, dude. Expectations have never been lower.
We said maybe we should just call this the 3-minute drill. And we'd probably be undefeated right now if this was a 3-minute drill. But the
first one was like, I thought the first one was really long.
I thought that one was like 258, 259.
Wow. Yeah, no, we definitely. You know what we haven't had yet? We haven't had a choral. We've had it always in our first episode. We've always had at least like one in the first 10 minutes at least.
Having access to a producer and this soundboard is going to revolutionize the choral game.
I'm the best in the nation.
Oh my, dude, he's so ready. It's crazy.
Oh man.
Well, listen, let's see if we can overcome a lackluster performance in the 2-minute drill. The reason for the season right now, the reason for the special, this episode is titled The Cheese Wedding Special, introducing our groovy Tony Jadakiss guest picker of the week, Austin Cheese Anderson. Welcome to the show, buddy.
Cheese.
Thank you guys. Like I said, super stoked to be here. You guys keep me laughing all the previous weeks. In fact, sometimes I find myself trying to respond to dumbass comments. So I don't know whether that means you guys are dumb or I'm just really stupid for trying to talk to a podcast. But we'll just kind of see how things go from here.
Probably a little column A, a little column B.
Yeah, true.
Well, listen, we're putting you on the spot here. Normally we prepare some interview questions. We just want to kind of send this one off the dome. Again, this week we're celebrating you getting hitched. Where's your head at? How you feeling? I know we talked a little while ago. You're feeling good, but how
Yeah,
are
man.
we doing getting closer to the wedding day?
Honestly, man, I'm super excited. I mean, it feels like at this point, it feels like it's been a long time coming. You know, we got engaged at the start of 2020, and then the world shut down. So to kind of have this after almost 2 years of kind of waiting and planning, I'm so excited. She's a great gal. She makes me incredibly happy, and I get to see all my family and friends in one weekend and celebrate that time with Katie. Like it's kind of hard to like express how stoked I am for this upcoming weekend. It's going to be hard to beat any other time, and I think for the rest of my life. So
Nice.
wrap my head around that.
It's super unfortunate though. Let me interject here. It's super unfortunate though. I'm gonna have to beat you in fantasy the week and kind of put a damper on the whole weekend. I don't know.
I mean, that's true. That will. I'm sure you will do your best. However, my plan is to get you liquored up enough to where I can steal your phone and maybe tinker a little bit with your lineup. I'm not above that.
I'll tinker enough myself. Don't worry.
I'm sure you will.
Switch off one player. Just make sure Derrick Henry's not in the starting lineup. He should be in really good shape.
You know what? I have a feeling that Bad Mother Tucker might be completing a trade to Shark in the Water. Derrick Henry for
a kicker.
Hines. Yeah, probably for Hines.
Can do it.
Oh boy. Kief, am I good to ask? I don't know. I'm going to put this ball into your court, Austin. I can either ask you a wedding related question, or I could ask you something related to low expectations in the league. I'm gonna kind of put the ball in your court and see which direction you want to go.
Well, we just had a kind of a wedding question from Kiefer, so let's talk a little football, man.
Yeah, and I'm not going to talk per se football, but I think you'll understand where I'm going. So when you started, we were talking about that this weekend, but you were one of the first people who started content writing for the league, and you started the Cheese's weekly power rankings. And that's kind of blossomed into Joe's power rankings. It's turned into the coaches poll, and obviously now the Low Expectations Network and Friends and Low Expectations podcast. And so what kind of has that been like for you to witness and kind of see the growth that has come out of the league and all the really, and my bad, Philly and Phillies 5, and all the content that's come out since you kind of started?
Honestly, I think it's really fun, and it makes the league really special. When I decided to first start the power rankings, I mean, the league was fun. We were having a good time. People were talking a little bit of shit here and there, but it was the middle of the pandemic. Everyone was still kind of not able to do what they wanted to do, and so I just figured it'd be a way to get people to talk more and have more engagement. So I think we've got some incredibly talented people in the league. I think the content that's coming out is fresh. It's fun. It's something I feel everyone looks forward to each week, and I'm super excited to be a part of that. I do see myself as El Presidente of
How would you like to suck my balls?
Bring him on over. I do see myself as El Presidente of the Low Expectation League multimedia empire, but that is neither here nor there.
I think we can find a spot for you. I know for me, when you tapped me to join the team at Cheese Weekly Digest, I was like, this is a great way to get some jokes off, to roast some people, talk some shit, and add other layers. And I think the thing that you brought up that I really like is just getting the guys involved, right? Like, given, Sam and I think we both agreed kind of like our vision would be like everyone has a shtick. Like if everyone had that thing that like they're known for and they could bring to the table, it would be great. It would help with league retention. And yeah, to your credit, you're the daddy of all that, man. You
Penis
birthed,
cheese.
you birthed that from your nutsack.
Yeah, call me daddy.
I'm a man.
I wish we
and
had
kind
the
of
rest of the soundbite.
kind of with that in mind too, thinking back on your power rankings, have you had any? You've been doing the comparisons, and I think those have been really clever. Have you had any favorites that you've done of like, this is like the favorite comparison? I know you've had the Star Wars one, you've had the cars. What's been your favorite one that you've done so far?
At this point, definitely the Star Wars one has so far been the most fun. I got to do some fun roasting with them as well. I didn't have to make it as like literal. I mean, honestly, I had a terrible week that week. I think my comparison was very apt, and I got to have a lot of fun with it. It's very easy to roast yourself. It's a little harder sometimes to like put comparisons on there. I mean, I think most people in the league have seen Star Wars enough times to where they're going to get them all, but you don't always know. I'm pretty excited for this week's power ranking comparisons. I think a lot of people are really going to like them. They might not like who they're compared to, but I think I think everyone will have a good time with them for sure.
Awesome.
Well, I know me personally, I enjoy the power rankings. I enjoy reading Austin's thoughts, because Austin, in the years that I've known you now, which is pretty wild to me that this is going on like 5 years. Like you and I now,
I know, man.
For like 5-6 years. What was it? Fall 2015 when I came to Pullman.
Yeah.
Fall 2015. That was, like that was the birth of this, So
yeah.
So yeah, like in the years that I've known you, you talk a lot of shit, but you're not a great shit talker, if that makes sense.
Yeah. That's true.
And so to see kind of like your unfiltered creative shit talking just come out on paper and just roast people, it's awesome. It's hysterical. It's fun to read. I love the comparisons. I hate my comparisons sometimes, but I still love them because I'm like, damn, I really hate how accurate he is.
I think I gave you a pretty good one with the Star Wars one.
Yeah, I mean, hey, the Star Wars one, definitely appreciate it. And honestly, me to a T. Han Solo, reckless but gets results. Love it. I love it.
I mean, it was either that or it was going to be Jabba the Hutt, one of the two.
Oh, man. Thank God I avoided that comparison.
Thank you so much for being my friends.
Yeah.
Well, it's always great, but it's time to move into the real reason we brought you here. We want to get your takes, your week 7 picks, your future casting, trying to, make Joe's life a little harder if you get it right. And, he doesn't want to be the guy that says, well, fuck, he got it right. So I love this segment. I love hearing, what our guests think about the league and where things stand. So this is your time. Tell us a little bit about your picks and who you like this week, who you don't like.
Absolutely, man. So I spent a good time looking at this, and went over all the rosters, kind of did my own forecast and who I thought was going to play who. I mean, we're in a super interesting time for the league right now. It is bye season. We've got a ton of teams. I mean, this is when pretty much everyone's going to be on bye. A lot of high-powered teams that typically have players putting up big numbers are on bye right now. We've also had the injury bug that's gone around. I know that bug quite well. It's made my running back game a little bit of a nightmare. But so I definitely took some time with these. Ultimately, first game up, BMT versus myself, Chark in the Water. I do have Sam winning this game. Here's my thought process on it. I think it's going to be close. I do think this game could go either way. I think it'll be close. I think it'll probably be decided by maybe like between 5 to 10 points. Ultimately, I think that Bad Mother Tucker is going to win at the QB position. He's going to win with his running backs and with the tight end. I've made some big improvements at running back, but my quarterback situation is pretty volatile right now. I'm not really sure where I'm going to be going with that. My tight end, Gesicki had a great game last week. Who knows if he's capable of repeating that again? It's also, I have Ertz on my bench, but he's just got traded to Arizona. Who knows how many looks he's going to get if he even gets the start. So I think because of those reasons, I think it'll be close, but I do think Sam's going to edge me just because of the QB situation.
And here's a look into the mind of Bad Mother Tucker. My bye situation is so bad that I am going to be playing without a defense this week. It is like the one of the boldest things I have ever done, but I cannot afford to drop some of these players. Even so, I'm just going without a defense because I'm a crazy bastard. I don't know.
It is Friday, my dudes.
He's so confident he's going to win. He's going to play me without a defense. What a cock.
Maybe you should play without a defense too to make sure that we're on level playing field. I wouldn't want to embarrass you, but also wouldn't want you to have a cop-out answer for a win.
That's fair. I love cop-outs though. Huge fan.
Big cop-out guy. Big cop-out. Since we're talking about this one, I did want to discuss the DK trade.
Yeah.
Real quick, because you and I came to an agreement. I gave you DK in exchange for your first rounder. And the decision to move on, was this because you just kind of felt desperate with CMC being down, or you feeling good about your other receivers? You got great receivers. Antonio Brown looks like he's Brady's number one guy, much to my chagrin as a Godwin owner. Cooper Kupp, like my guy is making white people proud at the wide receiver position. So talk to me a little bit about the processing there.
So the trade definitely wasn't something that was lightly done. Mo and I we've been trading a wide receiver for a running back for a while. That wasn't the first draft of the trade. It wasn't the second draft. It probably wasn't even the third draft. We talked about a lot of different. At one time, Aaron Jones was in the conversation. Mo originally really wanted Kupp and was really hesitant to let go of Kupp because I like how he's been playing. He is the number one target there in LA. Kind of what it came down to is ultimately I needed a running back. I'd lost my keeper pick from the year before. Singletary is just hot garbage. Hines is arguably worse. Jacobs is he can be someone else's problem for all I care. He's so my running back situation wasn't strong. Needed to do something to boost that. Otherwise, I was going to be eating some waffles. Did I really want to give away DK? No, but I figured out between DK and Kupp, I would rather retain Kupp. He's producing more for me this year. And with Russ going down, not knowing exactly what DK's production would look like moving forward, I figured that would be kind of the devil I know rather than the devil I didn't.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, Carl had some strong opinions on it last week. Sam had some strong opinions. I'm more of the wait and see category. I think it's a solid trade for you. But yeah, keeping us moving.
Yeah, man.
Ride the bus and Dalvin and Hobbs this week. Talk to me a little bit about this. A matchup of what presumably the top 2 teams in the league right now.
Absolutely. I think it's going to be a fun matchup. I do think Ride the Bus's luck is going to run out this week. Dalvin and Hobbs, Philly's team definitely looks revamped. Both teams do have multiple players on bye and on injury. I think this game's going to come down to the quarterbacks. Murray, I think, should have a field day with the Houston defense because they're god awful, and that's basically going to kind of what it comes down to. If Ride the Buzz does pull this win off, I think it's certifiable proof that there's some weird voodoo shit going on.
There's definitely some witch doctor stuff involved in Carl's fantasy play, but we can save that conversation for another time.
Sure.
It's in the mailbag, so if you really wanted to talk about it, we can talk about it today. Again, the Groovy Tony Jadakiss picks the mailbag topic. Sam, what do we got next?
Let's talk about Blood, Sweat, and Beers and Team Fred.
Yeah, Team Fred.
Name, I like it.
I need to get Fred on here so I can learn how to pronounce his team name, but until then,
Fred's team, which I'm just going to use the abbreviation TEC. TEC's wrecked this week from buys. Kareem Hunt's out. Blood, Sweat, and Beer's been putting up great points. I don't see that changing anytime soon. I think he's going to win the matchup in his running backs, his wide receiver, and his flex positions. I'm going to say BSB by at least 15 on this one.
Would you like some googie?
Oh, I like that by 15. Yeah, I mean the bye week bug is going to start hitting all of us, kind of like the injury bug has affected a lot of us. So this could be the week that Team SA Ching On succumbs to his bye week bug. The you so passionately dubbed the toilet bowl matchup. Talk to me about this one.
Head cow versus rice to beat you. Yeah, this is the toilet bowl matchup. Both teams are 1-5. Realistically, I do believe this game is going to decide who's chowing down on waffles.
Oh shoot!
Yeah, I mean, you've got for head cow for Joe's team: Zeke, Schultz, Jefferson, Pollard, and Boswell on bye. Carson, Kittle on IR. Realistically, if Geno starts Sam Darnold, he's going to lose the quarterback matchup. But because of his running back and wide receiver core, I still think Geno gets the win here. But it's really going to depend on just how bad Sam Darnold does if Geno decides to start him.
See my notes below. And last but not least, we have the Kief himself against the loosest of gooches.
The loosest of gooches, indeed. I think the gooch is going to get even looser after Kief is done with them. I got Kief Chief over the gooch is loose. Short of Mo making some big moves, I really don't see Kief having any trouble with this matchup. Mo gets Debo back this week, but basically the rest of his wide receiving core is out. So, or honestly, Kiefer, if you lose this matchup, you should be ashamed.
Yeah, I mean, I probably would, realistically speaking. I feel a lot better, and I think I've actually mentioned this to everyone now here. I knew, when you're facing a team that scores 170, you're not really playing to win at that point. You're gonna lose. So it's really just how good do you look in comparison to the rest of the league.
Yeah.
And the fact that I put up enough to beat all but 2 teams in the league last week, a promising game from AJ Brown after I talked mad shit about him last week. So I'm going to keep the AJ Brown slander coming, so that maybe he'll deliver me some more strong games. But yeah, I feel great about my chances, and yeah, I'd probably be pretty upset if I can't pull out this win here.
Yeah.
So one of my favorite things on this show that we get to do is do Joe's job for him. And so you have some notes written down here and we want you to pick 3 because we can't do all of Joe's work for him. So talk me through your 3 picks that you have this week.
You're right. We definitely can't do all of Joe's work for him. He's got enough on his plate trying to stay out of the damn Waffle House. So the 3 I've got for you, I'm going to do our player of the week. I'm going to pick the upset of the week, and I'm going to do the oof of the week as well. Some of these are going to sound a little repetitive because I did touch on them before. But player of the week, I'm giving the player of the week right now to Kyler Murray. I honestly think he is going to absolutely have a heyday against the Houston defense. I realistically, I think he's going to put up over 30 points. Good job, Philly, for having Murray, because I think he's going to make you a really happy fantasy owner this week.
Nice cock.
Can you just like transcribe what that just said for me? I just make sure I heard it correctly.
Nice cock.
Okay,
okay, that's what I thought.
Okay. I thought it was Wii Bowling for a second, but it was obviously not Wii Bowling.
It's Wii Bowling with nice cock.
Is that like the NC-17 version of Wii Bowling that I didn't play?
Hey, now everybody got that. Now everybody got that nice cock money. You know what I mean? Y'all must also have AirPods regular.
I think that's only the Japanese version of Wii Bowling.
I mean, I got it in Wuhan, so.
You have the upset of the week now, which I'm reading, and I don't know. I think something's wrong. I think you mistyped something on your notes.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. A little gremlin could have done it. Honestly, and this might be a little conceited, but I'm going to give the upset of the week to me.
Jeez.
Yeah, thank you. Sam, your team does have a lot of bye shit going on. Your defense situation, it is, it's going to be interesting. There's a lot of factors that I don't think it's crazy to see me winning this. Really, this is more of an upset just because if your team's at full strength, you blow me out of the water, realistically. It's kind of a perfect storm for me to maybe pull off a win. I don't think it. I really don't think it's gonna happen. I do think that you will win the game, but I think if there's any time for me to get a win over you, this is kind of the perfect storm for it.
Man, we have very different perceptions of this game, because I think I'm going in as the underdog, especially having like 7 players on a bye and playing without a defense. I definitely think if I win this game, for me anyways, if I'm viewing it, that I'm the underdog in this situation. But I think it's going to be fun regardless. Like, I still have enough high scoring. I mean, and you can't count out Derrick Henry. The dude's on pace for over 2,000 rushing yards. Like,
he's a monster.
I would love to. I was telling Fern this today. I was like, I would love to see Derrick Henry be like the MVP of the league this year, just because like I feel like the man deserves it. And I'm tired of seeing QBs win it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. Like I said, I personally don't even think that's an upset. I think me beating you is the upset this week. But I respect your choice, and I thank you for your time.
As the person that does the odds, you're definitely not the underdog, but you can take that up with Vegas.
I'm gonna write a strongly worded letter.
I'm pissed now.
All right, and take us home with your oof of the week.
My oof of the week is real simple. Gino, if he starts Sam Darnold, that's it.
Get this idiot kid out of here.
Thank you.
That about sums it up. So Kief and I we're bringing back our favorite segment. We got some strongly worded letters in the mail from our listeners last week that they wanted more waiver wire content, and we are here to deliver with, we tried to pick some ones that maybe weren't as popular. So Kief, I know you have a tight end you're kind of begging to talk about.
Yeah, so I mean, listen, I want to address, last week we had a lot of content we wanted to get through, so we really just dropped our nuggets as opposed to, talk about them in depth. So to the listeners out there, we apologize. We were trying to bring you all the content from an exciting week in the league, but yeah, you guys know me. Tight ends are a big deal. I need
love a tight end.
I need a backup tight end. A lot of people are still looking for, potential tight end one. I mean, there's just such a disparity between the top 3-4 tight ends in the league and everybody else. The guy I've got my eyes on this week, I put in a waiver claim. We'll see what happens. But Ricky Seals-Jones, in a premium league, a 10-man league, tight ends are a premium. He's getting the looks from Taylor Heineke. He's looking his way. He's rewarding Heineke for throwing his way. So back-to-back pretty solid games. I anticipate that, the more Logan Thomas, gets phased out of the offense, the bigger his role is going to get, especially when really your next best or your best pass catcher is Terry McLaurin. And, the ball's got to go somewhere. It can't go to Terry all the time, even though Fred would love it if he did. So, Ricky,
another one.
That's my guy to keep your eyes on for this week.
Yeah, I think that's a great take, and I totally agree. And he's definitely getting the looks from Heineke. And I mean, if you're in need of a tight end, he's the best option currently. The guy I have, and it's probably a name not a ton of people know, but it's Jamal Agnew from the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I said,
hella off meta pick right here.
Yeah, I have no idea what the fuck is going on in Duval County right now. I don't think anyone does, with Urban getting lap dances in Ohio to, all the crazy shit that's
he's just
going
trying
on.
to have a fun time, man. Come on.
I can't fault the guy, but the fact that Jamal Agnew has popped up on the waiver wire radar blows my mind. He's been the guy that's been getting looks by Trevor Lawrence. He's only rostered in 1% of the leagues right now, or at least 1% of leagues on Sleeper. So keep that with a grain of salt. But in the past 2 games, he's been on the field for over 50% of the snaps, and he's been averaging 10 points. He's gotten 13 targets in his past 2 games with about 12 receptions. And so, if he's continuing on this trend, he could be a really sneaky pickup, and especially if you're on a bye week situation and you're needing a guy that's going to potentially put up 10 points. This is definitely a risky pick. It could be a boom or bust, but at least the way he's been trending, he might be a good pickup this week for someone who's needing a wide receiver.
I think the big thing here is the targets. He's getting the looks. It's definitely doesn't really seem like Lawrence has a favorite go-to guy. Marvin Jones has been eating by default because DJ Chark has been out, but yeah, I think this is it's a boomer bust play, but in an offense where really outside of James Robinson, you can't really trust anybody. It's promising that he's getting the targets that he's getting. So I like this one as a sneaky pick. I definitely concur here, Commish.
So who do we think, now that we've talked about who we think we should add, we've got a few people that we think that could be better on the waiver wires. And I know you have some strong feelings about this. I have some strong feelings about this. Some of it has already been hinted towards, but Kief, talk to me about what's going on up here in Indianapolis for you.
Yeah. So, I was looking through the rosters. I kind of just go through, just pick out, who's underperforming, who's not really living up to the hype. And I landed on Nyheim Hines from our boy Cheese here. And I landed on him for a couple reasons. Number one, with the Swift trade, Cheese got a pretty solid backfield once Christian McCaffrey comes back. So he's got a backfield that is going to feature Christian McCaffrey, Josh Jacobs, Singletary as a solid, good, not great, streamer. So yeah, I mean, once you get Christian McCaffrey back, you've got a 3-headed monster. Guys three guys who can get you 17 plus points. And with DK gone, I think maybe Austin might be looking for another pass catcher, maybe a tight end, an extra tight end. Gesicki's been getting some looks, but an extra pass catcher, I think, to supplement the loss of DK, even though Kupp and Antonio Brown are playing very well. I think this is a guy that we might see on the waivers here going into next week.
Yeah, I agree. Jonathan Taylor is the guy in Indianapolis, and that backfield is a mess as it is. So Austin, if you can hear this, I think you should drop Nyheim Hines.
If I can comment, I've been meaning to get rid of him. I want to try to find. I'm not sure who I want to replace him with. That's the only holdup right now. You know what's the wild thing about Nyheim Hines is he's projected for 14 points every single week.
Well, so that's one thing that I noted in my notes.
Every single time.
I didn't read them verbatim, but he definitely adds value as a pass catcher. He's a decidedly better pass catcher than Jonathan Taylor. So he ends up on the field in third downs. So he's bound to give you 5, 6, 7 catches. And depending on what he's able to do with those looks, he could break one off. And he turns into another guy you picked up, JD McKissick.
Isn't he also the punt returner or kick returner for the Colts as well?
Is he?
I think he is. So he adds a little bit of value. If he can get a hole on a punt return or something like that, that's an easy, 6 points in your pocket there too.
Right.
But no, I agree.
All I know is
sometimes it may be good, sometimes it may be shit.
Perfect.
That's the best thing Carl added to this show. So the next one, I want you to talk about this next one because you already talked about it. I wrote this in my notes. I wanted to keep it short and sweet, but Austin, if you wanna take this one home, because you've already said it, so I'm gonna let you do this.
Yeah. The next one on the drop list, Sam Darnold. Simply stated, he's not playing good football. Honestly, there's plenty of other quarterbacks right now on the waiver wire that are putting up better points. I don't know why Geno still has him. I don't know if he's just really attached to this USC product. Maybe he can trade him to Mo for someone because Mo loves USC. But Geno, if you're listening to this, we love you and we care about you.
This is an intervention.
We want you to not suck by continuing to use fucking Sam Darnold. Get him off the fucking roster.
I want to add here that this was a puzzling pickup for me because here are some notable names who are playing fairly consistently who are available. Baker Mayfield, he's available. He's played pretty darn consistently. That's one. Derek Carr right now, available, has 20 plus points in 4 of 6 matchups. That's another one who's available. A sneaky pickup here, and one that we briefly mentioned in the tight end talk, but Taylor Heineke, 20 plus points in 3 matchups, in 3 of 6 matchups. Solid pickup. He had some value on the ground with his legs as well. This was a bit of a surprising pickup for me. And you're saying that he should end up, Darnold should end up back on the waiver. I don't disagree.
And then the last one that we have is David Njoku. And I wrote that the mystery of David Njoku continues. I have no idea what to make of his production and usage, really of any production and usage in the tight end room in Cleveland. I mean, you can attribute it to maybe Baker's torn labrum, but I mean, they've been throwing the ball pretty well other than that. On occasion, he's the guy for Baker Mayfield, and other times Baker treats him like the stepchild he never wanted. So as much as Kief likes his U products, it might be time to look for alternatives to back up Kelsey, like our Ricky Seals-Jones that we talked about up top. So I think, like I said, when I was looking through rosters, I was like, Njoku's had one good week, one decent week, and the rest have been pretty poor. So
sometimes may be good, sometimes may be shit.
There it is. So Kief, if you're
Couldn't
listening,
have said it better.
If you're listening, Kief.
I'm hoping I land another tight end sweepstakes here, so we'll see how it goes. Honestly, when it comes to David Njoku, I do have a soft spot for him. Obviously, he's a Canes product. He's a freak of nature athlete. The guy's 6'5", 260, has certifiable like 4'5", 4'6" speed.
Hurry up, asshole!
Was a high jumper. Was a like borderline world class high jumper in high school and in his first 2 years at Miami. And so honestly, I just got a massive boner when he popped off last week. I was like, might as well pick him up. I'm in a pretty
Mr.
good
Burgundy,
position.
you have a massive erection.
I was in a pretty good position with my roster where I had a lot of flexibility. I rostered an extra defense because I didn't like my matchups with the Saints and Rams. So I was going to drop that one anyway. So I had some roster flexibility. I figured why not give it a try. And if Baker continues looking his way, great. He's a nice little streamer option for Travis Kelce's bye week. But tight ends are hard to come by.
All right, and let's get into our next segment. Super producer Philly, do you have any fun sound effects to kick us off into this segment?
The price is wrong, bitch.
I was hoping something waffle related, but I will take it and it will work. Oh,
I looked for hours for something on waffle.
What about do we not have Shrek? And in the morning I'm making waffles?
Oh, just TBD. Hold on.
I can stall.
Man.
I have plenty of things to talk about.
Billy's going to get fired after week 1.
I mean,
so here's the thing. I haven't been able to test these, so I'm just going to try these out. Ready?
All right, go for it.
Waffles. Belgian or potato waffles. Look in front of you now.
I don't want 8 waffles. I want 12. I want 12 of them.
That's a pretty good one.
That one might work.
Waffles! What a bunch of poopy anus farts covered in dick waffles. Being
I don't know. Those are a couple options.
That one. I could have done without that one.
Definitely not a family-friendly podcast anymore.
It's never been a family-friendly podcast.
This is why people ask me, they're like, why do you have the explicit tag? I'm like, that's why.
That's why.
Yeah.
The dad of our podcast is playing these.
Alrighty then.
Yeah, the Waffle Watch at this point in the season is starting to get pretty clear. I'm going with my pick from last week, Cup of Joe with your All-Star. For me, it's gotta be Joe. He can't get it right consistently. And in the very few instances that he has gotten it right, he's gotten shit matchups where somehow, his opponent drops 160. And so, it's tough because you look at his roster, he's got a talented roster. He could probably make a move or two if he were willing to wheel and deal. But yeah, falling to 1 and 5. Inconsistency in scoring. Too much roster tinkering. The man is following. He's definitely your little Sam because he's following in your footsteps, leaving a consistently good target on the bench every week in Cortland Sutton. So
runs in the family, baby.
Definitely pass that gene on. So
mine,
All-Star. I don't see you leaving the basement anytime soon, buddy. Sorry.
I'm going to go with mine. I'm going 2 weeks in a row. Scattered, covered, and smothered Simeone. Another guy who just can't seem to get it right. I think he's kind of in the similar situation as Joe, except I don't think Gino tinkers at all. And that might be his downfall because he gets tough matchups. I don't know if he gets tough matchups, but he loses close matchups. It feels like almost every week, and he's leaving points on his bench. I struggle for him to continue to start Myles Gaskin because Myles Gaskin had one really, really good week But other than that, he's been dog piss this year. So like, it's just, yeah, I mean, granted,
University of Washington product.
Yeah, I mean, what do you
never trust a Husky?
So I mean, I don't know. It's tough because I mean, Mixon's been performing for him, but I don't think you can justify starting Kenyon Drake over, Gaskin. They're both kind of inconsistent, but man, Gino can't catch a break, and he's going to ride that wave all the way to the Waffle House. He said he has one right by his house, so I think he's in good company.
You mentioned Gino and roster tinkering, and when I look at his roster, I mean, it really is like if people aren't on a bye, it's a set and forget roster. Like, Joe Mixon, if he's not on a bye or if he's not hurt, you're starting him.
RB1.
Hopkins, Devontae Adams, Keenan Allen, you're starting those guys. So it really is. Justin Herbert, you're starting those guys. It really is a set and forget roster because he's got the talent. Like, it's there. I mean, I think, in my opinion, if I'm just looking at talent, I think he's one of the 5 most talented rosters. His receivers alone are incredible.
Yeah.
It's just he can't get any consistency.
And that will be
realistically, I think Gino is one more good running back away from getting out of the Waffle Watch. It's just whether or not it's too late in the season to acquire someone.
It's going to be tough for him to deal. I mean, he's going to have to deal one of those really, really talented wide receivers. Maybe Keenan Allen. I don't know. That'd be like, if I'm looking at that roster, I'm keeping DeAndre Hopkins and I'm keeping Devontae Adams just because I know that Herbert's been eyeing Mike Williams so much. So maybe Keenan Allen, but man, that's a tough situation to be in. So
yeah,
I don't know. And what do you got for us, Austin?
All right. So, I mean, ultimately, I think that your guys' picks, they are both 1 and 5 for a reason. I'm sure they can feel the batter scalding their mouths as we speak. I'm going to toss one more in there. He's been in the Waffle Watch before. I created my own name for him. I've got the double topped Gooch, and Mo he's got to be in the Waffle Watch still. A repeat with Roach could be in his future. He continues to fail to win close games. I mean, how many games has it been where he's lost by, 10 points or less? It keeps happening. Small little roster mistakes here and there. He's got a great team. He's got some really talented players on it, but it just never seems to come together for him. I mean, he kind of has had the same luck as Joe and Gino. He's just gotten, he had a couple wins and that's about it. I haven't really seen anything that's been stellar from him. So, I mean, coming up here, I think both Joe and Gino play him again. I know he's got a really tough lineup coming up here in the future as well. I think he plays you, Sam, and I think he plays you, Philly. And Kiefer, you got him this week. I mean, if he can't find a way to win these close games, he's going to be chowing down on some more waffles.
But he's a seasoned pro, so
maybe he can beat his record.
Not the strat at this point, but I mean,
maybe
I
he can beat 16.
I don't want to see anyone sit in Waffle House for 24 hours, but I certainly don't want to see somebody spend 24 hours. Well, almost, like not quite 24, but still, I don't want to see it happen twice in a row.
I do. I think that'd be hilarious.
I want to be live streamed this year. If let it be known. I don't know. Keith, we've had talks about this. Remember, we'll play that out. Next up, we have one of my fan favorite sections is the weekly superlatives. I'm going to challenge you guys. Let's keep this one short and sweet. Let's let the listeners make their own opinions on it. But Keith, let me I like yours, so take it away.
Yeah. So I'm going to continue the Joe slander here. Most likely to quit fantasy football and join a traveling drum circle. Listen, just fantasy football really just isn't in the cards for Joe this year. Waffles seem to be all but a certainty. I think maybe a drum circle could be a nice change of pace. Maybe it's more his speed. Colorado is known for drum circles. I know he's a Broncos fan, so I'm out here, Joe. If you want to come out here, I won't join a drum circle with you, but I'll support you no matter what. You're my boy still.
You can tinker with your lineup while he plays the drum.
Yeah, exactly.
Pizza.
So yeah, most likely to quit fantasy football and join a traveling drum circle. Waffle House Williamson.
I'm up next, and mine is I'm a very humble person, and this one's going out to myself. I'm going from first to worst award is me, the Commish, RIPIP. Man, talk about from high octane to out of fuel and 100 to 0. Man, that was quite the pathetic performance for me. And I mean, Eric Henry made it salvageable, but I left so many goddamn points on my bench. It's tough to watch. But first to worst, Commish. And last but not least.
Yeah, I mean, I got for my superlative, I've decided to go with the most likely to Cougat award, and like continuing on with the slander, that's going to Gino. Boy, we love to pick on these poor losers. I ultimately though, I got it. I'm giving the Cougat award to Gino because I root for Gino to win every single week, except for when he plays me. Every single week, I want him to win. And he constantly disappoints. He constantly lets me down. Kind of like a lot of my favorite teams between the Sharks, the Cougars, the Seahawks right now, the Mariners. I mean, man, it's like I just love losers.
The price is wrong, bitch.
That's exactly right. I mean, it is brutal out here. But Gino, you get my most likely to Cougat award.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
I just appreciate that we all just let the clip run out. We knew it was going to be like a 10-15 second clip, and we're just like, yep, we got to have it.
I tried to get the award you no points, but it wasn't an option, so sorry.
Next comes, I think, one of my personal favorite sections that we have on the show, where we get to have some interaction with the listeners and the fellows of the league, and they get to post some questions to our guests or the hosts themselves. So,
I think Philly might have an intro for us.
Can you tee me up?
Mail time.
Love it. Keeping Commish's mailbag is definitely becoming my favorite segment because I just love all the random off the wall questions we get. And I want to give a shout out to Coral right there. Give a shout out to Coral. My man really wants us to discuss Roth IRAs. And, I'm not going to say you should pick that, but
I think we should not pick that.
You would give Carl a little Roth boner.
I don't think Carl needs more ego inflated than he already has right now. He's 5-0. I cannot give him that victory as well.
Listen, I mentioned last week, Carl and I literally talk every day, as do I with you and Sam and you, Philly. He's getting quite insufferable.
Yeah, he's been fucking miserable.
He's getting quite insufferable. Like, I just need anybody to beat him at this point, just so he has the loss on his record. Because as long as he keeps a 0 in the L column, it's just going to get worse.
With that, Austin, which question would you like to talk about?
I'm not gonna lie, man. I'm scrolling through these, and some of these are just fucking terrible.
Yes.
First off, Carl. No one cares about Roth IRAs. We're all old enough to do our own research. We don't need to discuss it on the podcast. Quit posting it. It's fucking stupid. But let me see. I think I gotta go with Kiefers. I'm just not sure which one because there's like 7 here.
Well, listen, I'll preface this like this section here, the jokes I needed to get off, I just needed to say them.
Okay, perfect. Got it.
And they're mostly fantasy football related, which the whole point of this segment is to not talk about fantasy football. But I just had to get those jokes off. I had to say them. I had to write them down somewhere. So even if they never see the light of day, like the question I never asked Philly, I can sleep well at night knowing that they will forever live in our notes.
All right. I'm gonna go with your very first question there, Kief. You want me to go ahead and read that off?
Yes.
All right. Question: Vegas needs to know, and since I am the odds maker for the Low Expectations League, what are the chances that you, the chiefest of Kiefs, get thrown out of my wedding for being too drunk?
Jeez.
I've been on the phone with Vegas about this. We've been crunching the numbers, looking at statistics. And it's interesting because the way the odds are set up, and this is all very scientific. The way the odds are set up is there's actual time brackets for it. So, like for example, wedding starts at 5. The odds of you getting thrown out, at 5 or between the hours of 5 and 6 o'clock, very, very very low odds. I mean, it's like
suck my balls.
I think you know the ability of Kiefer to drink during the day.
Yeah, that's true.
Have you never heard of pre-gaming? And apparently I have a Coke addiction, so I mean,
I'd be disappointed if that didn't happen. But what I will say is I won't underestimate Kiefer's love for me and at least being able to make it through the ceremony aspect.
All right, that's fair.
However, the moment the ceremony ends, when we go from that I think it's like 5:30, once we kind of get that to that 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock time bracket, that is when the odds tip severely out of his favor. Realistically, as what we're seeing in Vegas is for every hour that Kiefer's there, the odds of him getting thrown out, they double. It's
the best in the nation.
It's a pretty it's a pretty clear line. Ultimately, safe money if we're betting on Kiefer to get thrown out of the wedding. For being too drunk, the odds are going to be about 2 to 1 by the time we hit the 9 o'clock time point. However, there is a special odds boost that he gets kicked out earlier with my grandma for smoking weed.
Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby! Don't you put that on us!
I was thinking about this, and if I were a gambling man, I'd probably bet on the money line here, minus 350. Getting thrown out at some point in the night, definitely take the odds boost. Smoking with Granny. Looking forward to catching up with her, and if she offers up a doink, not saying no. So
it'll be her or my sister, one of the two.
Hey, either or. If I get to say that I burned down at your wedding with one of your relatives, that is a trophy I will get made for myself. It'll just be a joint trophy that I just display proudly. What'd you get that for? Well, I burned down with my boy's sister at his wedding.
Yeah.
So
I mean, you could pick just about any family member from my side, so we'll see.
On the topic of weddings, and obviously Kiefer and I are two of the funniest people that I know. We want to play. Philly, can you play like a record scratch for me? You gotta there we go. We do want to get a little bit serious, and obviously, like I said, we have written, we've prepared some statements. Instead of doing a roast of cheese, we're going to do a toast of cheese. And like I said, we have some prepared written statements that we'd like to read off. So, Kiefer, I'll let you start since you did it first.
So I'll start by saying we originally had these in the agenda, but I didn't want you to see them. We talked about it. I met you in the fall of 2015. I've known you for a very long time. You were a swashbuckling senior at the Washington State University, land of the free, home of the Cougs. Win or lose, baby.
We both.
I didn't know then when I met you that you would join Sammy's staff. I didn't know that our first night out in Indianapolis together, you would pick up a ridiculously massive bar tab because I lost my wallet. I didn't know that, I would introduce you to some of my closest friends, present company included, and you would fit right in as if you joined, Sammy at Wazoo or Sammy at UWF. I didn't know that you would go out of your way to join me at my bachelor party in New Orleans at the drop of a hat, just because I asked you to on like 2 weeks' notice. And I certainly didn't know that you'd become one of my best friends. I didn't know these things would happen, but I'm certainly glad they did. I've never been so happy to have an acquaintance that I didn't think I'd really ever see again become such a huge part of my life. This time next week, you're going to be a married man. You're starting the rest of your life with the woman you love, and who almost certainly still hates me for trying to break you two up multiple times. But I'm glad you didn't listen. I'll say this, and if Katie can hear me, I hope she can't, because I'm admitting this out loud that I did try to break you two up. But I'm so glad you didn't listen. I'm so glad that you found love and happiness and joy with Katie. I'm so happy that I get to call you one of my best friends. I'm looking forward to celebrating with you this weekend. So here's to me, here's to you, brother.
Here's to me, here's to you, homie. Appreciate it, dog. And no, she doesn't hate you, actually. The only thing she's worried about is you showing her your butthole again.
Can't promise that won't happen. I need the Vegas odds on buttholes making an appearance as well.
Hey, we'll get right on that, and we'll make sure that's posted to the books.
It's got to be like minus 1,000. Like easily.
I don't even recall her seeing my asshole. Whatever.
Odds on Kiefer not being able to speak.
Unfortunately, man.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug, I suppose.
Odds on Kiefer not being able to speak English by the end of the night. I've seen that one happen before.
I'm learning German now, so I might break out the German.
All right. I guess this leaves mine. So this is my piece. I said Austin, more commonly known as Angus, is one of those people who came into my life and made it infinitely better. Whether it was us bonding over comic books, sports, or hating he who shall not be named. One thing I think we can all agree on is that thank God you moved on from the goatee, because I think you look significantly better with a beard. The adventures we've had together have been countless, and there's only more in store. I pride myself on being able to surround myself with people who make me a better person, and you are definitely one of those people. I know this for a fact because my mom, who's one of the best judges of character, always makes sure to ask about how someone is doing and what they're up to. And recently, and if Sally likes you, then you must be a damn good friend. I'm forever grateful for your friendship and looking forward to our continued adventures. Let's drink all the Coors this weekend and celebrate like only a degenerate from Wazoo knows how.
Win or lose, baby. Win or lose.
I just like to say I'm not an asshole. I just was not told about this. So,
well, in fairness, I don't think Cheese in Austin.
Yeah, but there's 4 people on this call, and 3 of them are not Cheese, and 2 of those 3 are saying nice things about Cheese, and no one gave me a fucking heads up. Like, hey,
do it off the dome.
Listen, it's all about balance. It's all about balance. So now you can go ahead and roast him. We said nice stuff, so now you can just.
That's true.
Roast him into oblivion.
I'll say this.
Let's get a mean Philly in here.
I hope you put more effort into your marriage than your fantasy football team.
Oh my!
Yeah, that's fair.
And there it is.
And the win or lose Cougs booze is actually the perfect mantra to have for when you get in an argument with your spouse. Win or lose, Austin boozes. For real though, I don't have the same experiences that everyone else does with you. I met you at Kiefer's wedding, which I want to. I mean, I don't really do this very often, but I drove like 12 hours and 18. And part of it was driving Sam Friday back to Orlando.
At the damn hotel.
Because you left him at the hotel.
That's true. I did.
Austin made plans to ride with us the next day, and then doesn't even wake me up to say he left.
Yeah, he just left. But I met you there, and I obviously don't have the same experiences, but what they've said about you is obviously true because just in the short time I've known you, you've gone out of your way to just be kind to me. The thing I try to do the most to other people is be kind, and show them compassion and be there for them and support them. And you've done that for me. You'll text me out of the blue. I mean, you invited me to your wedding, and we're in a lot of group chats together, and we spend a lot of time talking in the same circles, but we don't have that close of a relationship. But for you to invite me and then follow up and be like, hey, it's really important to me that you're there, means a lot to me. So I will try to honor you the best way I can by a
cheese.
Penis cheese.
Cheese.
Hold on.
Cheese.
Super producer mean Philly. We love it.
Do the super producer sound, Philly.
Oh man.
Oh. So awesome. That's all you get. That's all the niceness you get. We're done being nice now.
It's been a pleasure. We wrap up this week. Really excited to be making the trip to Indy. Really looking forward to it. But thank you for being our Groovy Tony Jadakiss guest picker of the week on the Cheese Wedding Special of the Friends and Low Expectations podcast, baby.
This has been a blast. I've enjoyed every minute of it. I love hanging out with you, D-Gens, and hopefully we can all have a great time this weekend, man. I'm really excited for it.
I will. My butthole will be out.
I fully expect it. Yeah.
Hey, Cheese.
Nice cock.
Well, folks, that wraps up episode 4 of Friends and Low Expectations. Thank you all for spending this time with us. We look forward to bringing you some high quality content, potentially hungover on Tuesday still. But we're gonna wait and see. So I hope that your fantasy scores are high and your expectations are low. This has been Kief and Commish and super producer Josh Philly England. Have a great night.